Greetings, shipmates, and welcome to a new episode of Let's Make Mistakes. I haven't done one of these for a while, but I thought this was a game that might be worth taking a look at. This is the Tier 8 French Destroyer Le Fantasque, or Le Fantasque, however you want to pronounce that. I'm not too fussy. But if, like me, you're just working your way up the silver line and not buying the containers to give yourself half a chance to get the Tier 9 silver ship that you'll actually be able to play through anyway, then at some point you're going to be playing this boat. I have played the entire line, and they're quite fun actually. I have to admit I was a little bit sceptical about playing a destroyer that doesn't have smoke, but you just have to adapt your game style and the approach to the gameplay with a little bit more caution. And with the changes to the AA system as well now, I'm not going to say it's brilliant, but it's friendlier to play around the CVs as long as you're sensible around ships and using cover. And a good example of that is here nice and early, because we have found ourselves into a CV game. I am moving towards the Bravadoh cap, but I don't really have any intention of going into that cap yet. What I was looking for was the Fubuki on the mini-map just off to my right there. Because our CV's laid fighters down for him, I was hoping he was going to go into Bravo, and then I was just going to support him from around here and then come in behind him. He's not going to do that, so we're going to have to do this a little bit differently. But the reason I haven't gone into the cap early on is because these ships don't have a smoke screen. There is a fighter squadron flying around there. My AA bubble is, I believe, 3.3 is my detection, and my guns are 3.5. So as you can see, my AA is currently turned off. But if I go in there and spotted, I'm probably going to get lit up, focused, and then this is going to be a very, very short video. So we didn't do that. Now I've come back around the island here, hoping that the Fubuki is going to push in, so I'm still sticking with Plan A at the moment. I've asked for some AA support from the CV. He's flying around there. You can see his fighters just going through B at the moment. Sorry, his rocket plane's going through B, and now the AA has been lifted. So those two fighter squadrons that have been dropped off, they've timed out and gone. So now's our moment to push into this cap. So I'm going to go with the Fubuki, as I mentioned previously, in the vain hope that he's going to drop a smoke screen for the pair of us, because they're not contesting B at the moment, so it's absolutely worth getting here and doing something about this. Now, there are radar cruisers around on the opposite side, so we need to be a little bit cautious. We can see the torpedo planes coming in, so the AA is staying off still. Hopefully they might go off to the right, but they're probably not going to. We are in, though. We're in the cap. The Fubuki's moving forwards. I'm staying with him. There's still no sign of this smoke screen. Fighters are getting awfully close. But you can see we just about got away without being spotted there. But if my A had been on, it may have just fired. I think he was just on the cusp of spotting me. We had a few hundred metres to spare. But now we're radared. There's 11 seconds. We are spotted, so I'm going to turn the AA on. Might as well start firing. I've pushed the O key to put my sector on that side, and I've got the hammer down, because my best way of dealing with this is to get moving. Now, I'm actually hunting for targets to shoot at the same time, because I'm radared. They know I'm here. There's planes up there, the A is firing. We might as well look to do something. But hey presto, in front of us a smoke cloud has just appeared. Now my initial plan here again was to go at the smoke and rush it quickly. But with the torpedo warning going off from the planes behind me, I had to take evasive manoeuvres to the left just to be sure, and that took me away. Now I've gone undetected, which has done me a bit of a favour here. So again, I was going to turn in and think about attacking the target, but let's see where the torpedoes end first. And fortunately the problem's been removed, the Asashio's been deleted, and we can get straight on about our business. Quick change up from AP back to HE to start shelling at that buy-in, and we're just going to disappear through this gap and move out. We have taken the objective, which was obviously the primary point. We was able to secure that with the help of the Fubuki, and just manoeuvring around at speed. So we popped the old speed boost a few seconds back just to get ourselves underway quicker and move out. Now, just as I was looking at moving around here, a Fubuki's popped up down there in the I2 grid. Now, this is a wonderful DD hunter. Now, he's dropped that. I'm detected, so I'm not going to fire, because I don't want the battleships to keep me lit as I make my way towards the Fubuki, because I've got to run this guy down. We can't let him run around the back. So, yes, as it's been, I've flashed the old mini-map there just to inform my team of what I'm planning to do. I did ask the CV if there was any chance of a spot, but the fact that he's gone into smoke, I was probably typing that errantly. It wasn't going to be much help. So the plan is just to run down the Fubuki, but with an element of caution. So there goes 2 sets of torpedoes out from that side of his boat. So now we're free to engage. So I'm going to turn onto the side, pop my booster, bring all of the guns to bear on him, and just gonna dagger him to death very, very quickly at this point. We know those battleships can see us, but there's little threat from them. So now I'm going to slam the anchors on because there's a nice smoke screen here for me to use. Now I could manoeuvre to get into the smoke screen, but it's not critical to do so, so I'm just going to sit behind the smoke screen. And you'll notice as I'm firing here, I'm dropping backwards and forwards on the camera quite frequently. The reason I'm doing that is just to check there's still a smoke screen there between shots. So I know that volley's out, I fire again. Drop back on the camera just to have another check, fire again, checking the blooms. That's still in place, so we can secure ourselves some more damage here. As we can see that Bayern, he's blind fired into that smoke, but he's actually hit me. How funny is that? That just shows how great the dispersion is on that battleship. Now he's still coming towards me, which just caught me by surprise a little bit. I'd have thought he was going to turn away, but this is the point this boat excels now, is hammer down, get up to speed, manoeuvre and fire. Now I've sent the torpedoes, I'd have anticipated he'd have probably guessed the torpedoes were coming. I'm keeping the profile of the boat small because of the dispersion of the Bayern. I can see the shells coming in, but he hasn't changed course. He knew there was a DD there and he's paid the ultimate price for it. But I mean, I limited my gunfire by just using the rear two guns. But I really wanted to make the distance on that Bayern first, just in case, because you can see, a lucky hit is still a lucky hit, and damage is damage. And if you lose your HP in this boat, you aren't getting it back anytime soon. So that's 3 ships we've taken care of now over here, and it took us away dealing with the DD he had to, so now we're going to have to get ourselves back in the battle. The CV's decided he's coming in again, so the AA is firing. Have I set a sector? No, I haven't, because if you look down on the corner there, you should see, there we go, now I've pressed the sector to the left, pointed my camera there, press the O key, and the guns start firing. So we're going to turn on the torps, he's coming too close there. I mean, the speed of this boat, if you can run the other way, which you should really do, is turn the AA off, come bow in on the attacking fighter. Certainly if they're rocket planes, they're always going to overshoot, because by the time they spot you at 3.3, you're doing like 50 knots at full speed, and they're not going to hit you. So you can dodge. You've got tools to play around. A good tip is if the fighters are coming in from the other side and your guns are on the other side, is just use the X key to lock your guns into position while you swing the camera around to fire, and then go back to it again, and then you don't have to worry about your guns traversing. So it does give you the opportunity to not have to wait for your guns to turn back round, because they are quite slow on this ship. It's one of these where expert marksman would probably help, and I'll look at that in the build after the game. I haven't taken it on the skills on this because of the nature of the boat. We're not really in close. It's not always going to be close engagement, where you don't want it to be like with that other DD. That's the only time you're really going to be in close, and then popping that booster and getting stuff done. You should always be at range. And most of the time, if you're manoeuvring, bringing the guns around to bear on the target before you open fire, you're going to give yourself every opportunity to do as much damage as you possibly can. Now I'm just going to stand station here for a minute and just shell this Cleveland for a little while. I don't think the Freddy could hit him because of the island, so we just wanted to make sure that he didn't get to take the cap cheaply. But with our friends in the old rockets coming in we were just talking about before, it's time to start moving again and getting underway. AA again's firing, the sector was right, now he's gone across to my left, so as you see I'm turning the boat towards the rocket planes, and I've got speed boost up, so we're at 40 knots. He's coming in again. Let's see if this works out. Little turn there, he's fired. He does get some hit. He does, what's that, 1 hit on us, but I was starting to manoeuvre and I wasn't quite at full speed. I was only at 40 something knots at the time, but he's missed again. The Cleveland has now also left the cap as well. Our shelling was enough to help him turn around and make better life choices, or better team choices for us anyway, and he's now heading south under heavy bombardment. So I'm just going to run myself up the map towards Alpha. We know the CV's in and around that vicinity, so I'm expecting that we're going to come under more AA attack over the course of the next few minutes. But with 2 bases captured, 1 being captured right now, I mean, the odds are in our favour. Our hunter-predator style of gameplay has worked reasonably well in dealing with the ships over on this left-hand side, left-hand flank, and has allowed us to push around. So onwards and upwards, let's get towards the base. Now, I might look at doing the Mogador when that comes out. Obviously, I've not played that, and then we've got the top-of-the-line ship as well. So there may be another video if the gameplay's all right. as it is. This isn't what we call, you get your top games and everyone posts a video of 200,000-300,000 damage and this, that and the other. But this was a game more about using the ship to its strength, using it to be that predator ambusher, using it at distance and using it to support your ships and keeping the flanks secured. It's quite difficult to do in a CV if he wants to focus you. You can mitigate it. I mean, obviously, everyone knows the situation. If he wanted me dead, he would just focus me for the entire match. I think we've got off relatively lightly in this game so far. I mean, we've sustained attacks, but we've managed to survive. Now, I'm not firing on this shores yet, and I'm not going into the cap yet because I don't want to give away my position. And with his health, I wanted to get into a position to do some serious damage to him before. Luckily, he's taken a big hit there. So as he turns, I hit my booster and then just start shelling him. So if we can bring him down quickly. We're getting plenty of damage on him. We got a fire and that's him taken care of as well. Again, careful use of your consumables at the right time helps. And if you've got torpedoes out, it's always good to try and get those preemptive fires. Or if they've already damaged 20-30 seconds afterwards, to pop that reload booster again and try and get another fire on them, because anything that sticks is going to cause significantly more damage than anything that's put out. With the game running down, we have actually secured 4 kills here. So, I mean, there's not much much more we're going to do. So, we're going to take this cap. I am looking at the CV over there. I've got a cool set for him, but I'm just being mindful of that Monarch. I was kind of expecting him to come into the cap and probably turn into me. So we put some torpedoes out on him. And then, do I slow down a little bit here so we didn't drift out of the cap? It's easily done in this boat because it does cross the cap a lot quicker than you can actually capture it. The Dallas goes down. The Monarch is just skirting the edge of the cap at the moment. I haven't decided to fire until we're detected. His guns are on the other side. We are just out of his secondary range, so we can afford to just help them out. He's in a crossfire now, so he's not going to get much joy. I can see the CVs fancying another go here. I'm watching my torpedoes. Don't get me wrong, there was half an IOU on. Yep, lovely, there's a Kraken secured. And then, nope, the torpedoes ran out at his hull. God damn it. Base is secure. The kill isn't secured by me, but it is secured by our team. And now I'm going to go up and have a little go with this Implacable. Now I don't want to get too close to him because of his secondary gun range, and they would cause me significant harm if we allowed ourselves to get in too close to him. Unsurprisingly, the fighter's up. He's already dropped a fighter around there. That's the CVs actually. That's the CVs deck fighter, isn't it? And then the rocket planes are coming in. So it was a question of how we're going to survive this battle. But with me this close to him, just trying to keep him half at arm's length, but in gun range and on fire. And I do have backup from the rest of the fleet behind me. We can get this guy down reasonably quickly. Again, this is another opportunity. We could have ambushed here and got ourselves a Kraken. But strong secondary guns on the CVs do make it quite challenging to get in close in the DD. And if he was manoeuvring, it would be a problem. But I'm just moving the ship left to right based on these rockets coming in from the Implacable. So unfortunately, I was not doing a huge amount of damage there. We have had more joy using HE, but as we have getting closer, he's gone down, and we were using AK to try and finish the job off, but we just didn't have enough alpha damage to complete it. Now, even though the CV's down, obviously his squadrons are still up, so we had to be careful, but then luckily the game ended there. And it ended pretty well for us, I thought, in the end. We contested well, we played the game well, we got a lot of shell hits there, 4 ships were down. We managed to get a dev strike we saw early on, which was also the first blood. Nearly 500,000 credits. On a silver ship isn't bad, and 15,000 with all our modifiers and flags on board, and managed to finish top of the team. So she's not a bad boat overall. Our detailed report, we didn't actually take as much potential damage I thought we was going to. We didn't see a lot of fire coming in on us, but there was 400,000. I've seen bigger games than that. I've had one that was 2 million. That was quite interesting, but that was a very, very different kind of game. As you see there with all the flags on board, 15,000 and 30,000 command XP goes very, very nicely into my pool that I can use to apply to other commanders as and when they come available. So we'll have a look at the build. So I've got main armaments modification 1 on here. But that's and then propulsion modification, I went for that because it does tend to lose the guns a fair bit. Then aiming systems mod instead of AA could probably change for that if we wanted to, but main battery slows that traverse of the guns down, increases it, but then you lose the reload. Propulsion, time to get to full power is pretty useful, and then the standard concealment module as well, just to lower the profile of the ship. Captain build wise, we start off with our standard build, which is always going to be priority target first. And then we're going to go for last stand, then on to survivability expert, and then finally for 10 points we are at concealment expert. And then after that you're going to build towards maybe say for another 3. Now you can choose between superintendent here or BFT. BFT is going to give you a better reload, so it might be worth taking that first before the superintendent to give you the extra consumables. And then adrenaline rush, and my last point went into preventative maintenance, because there wasn't really much more else to use it for. And that there is the tier French Destroyer Le Fantasque, or Le Fantastique Q. Thanks very much for watching. Until we sync again, Bravadoh out. Please also like and subscribe to the video, it does help. Thanks again.